Okay, hey, good morning. I did not come back to this last night like I expected to. Um, tell you the truth, some things are going on. I just totally forgot about it. Forgot I was doing it. I thought, uh, not that big a deal anyway. Um, takes a lot of hours for this to work, but you can see it is working. So I haven't touched this at all. You can tell that nice shiny clean tray. Now it looks yellow because of all of the film in the water. You can see the bubbles um, coming up from the metal. And I'm wearing blue gloves here. Uh, Not that you really need to, but I just don't like the smell of vinegar and I didn't want it on my hands all day. So um, you've got some filmy bubbles here, especially down here along the edge. There was a lot. You can see probably there's a lot of loose rust particles down there. Um, this here looks pretty nasty. I wish the light was a little bit better in here, but this is what I've got to work with. So I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try and, now that I got everything set up, I should have paid more attention to the light beforehand. I'm going to try and move this over without spilling this vinegar all over my table. It is really high in there and it didn't cover it all, so that'll be interesting to see. That one corner didn't get submerged, so we'll see kind of what effect that had, how crisp the line is there on the leftover rust there. And we're going to flip it over and do the other side. So I mean, it's working on the other side anyway, but it needs to go longer. So let's see if we can move this over very gently. Get a little bit better light. Oh, you can see as I'm moving it, maybe a bunch more bubbles coming up. Okay, and then let's adjust this. You know what? I apologize. This is going to be a big movement as I just move the whole tripod here. There we go. Okay. So hopefully a little bit better light there. You can kind of see what I'm talking about with those bubbles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lift it up out of there and we'll kind of look at it as it is and we'll wipe it down with some paper towels and just see what that underlying metal looks like so far. It's been almost 18 hours since the last video. Okay, so it looks grody. Let's see, is that, yeah, it's focused well enough, I think. Looks pretty grody there. You can see the residue coming off on the gloves here. Let's grab my paper towel and see if we can just rub this down. And you know, it actually doesn't look like we made much progress at all. I mean, we got a lot of nasty gunk coming off of there, but it's still looking pretty brown. Now, I've seen one of these cleaned up with a like a Brillo pad, I think you call it, a metal scrubbing brush, and I don't think they did the vinegar method at all. They just used elbow grease and polished it up, and it was shiny like chrome. It was absolutely beautiful. Not quite the look that I'm going for, but I might need to go that route anyway if this doesn't work a little better. Let's see if we can set that down for a moment. Grab some more of these paper towels. Boy, it is actually really difficult from this angle to lean over in front of the camera there so that you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm just trying to pull that through the eye, kind of get some of the loose gunk out of there. Okay, so have we made any progress? Obviously there's evidence of progress all over my hands, but not really any evidence of progress on the head. So, I hope that would work a lot better. It worked so much better on the other head. So, let's see if I can maybe sand that off a little bit. Can you see that? It does have some effect there. Okay, that's getting somewhere. That is getting somewhere. Look at that. There's that metal underneath. That's what I'm looking for. So I wonder how much easier this is right now because of the vinegar bath, or if this would have been just as easy to do from the beginning. I do not know, but looks like we're making some progress on that. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and scrub this down a little bit with the sanding sponge here. This, if you watched my Kydex shop tour, this is a sanding sponge that I use to finish my Kydex, and I imagine I might end up needing to replace it by the time I'm done with this, but they're not that expensive. That's fine. Let's see if we can get this cleaned up, and then you can see here there's a pretty decent chip out of this blade, so that's going to be a big part of the project here, restoring that edge. We're going to have to basically grind that back a little bit and get that even, and then sharpen it back up. That's going to be a fun process trying to figure that out, because I really don't want to damage the heat treat. That's really important on this style of axe because of the laminated metal. We really don't want to mess that up. We don't want to mess up that edge and cause it to dent or roll. And if it seems like maybe something that's going to be a little bit too difficult for me right now, I may actually hold off on that part of it until later. That's going to be kind of the last step anyway, is sharpening and reprofiling that. So I might hold off on that. I'll see what advice I get from the Axe Junkies on how best to deal with that with the tools I have, or tools I can acquire for very cheap, and then we'll deal with that in the future anyway. So we don't have to worry about it too much right now. But man, now that I got some of that crud cleaned off of there, that chip's a little bit bigger than I thought it was. So that's interesting. They were probably using it and hit a rock and just chipped it out of there. It's a little bit maybe brittle on that part. That's why they laminate the metal, is because the harder the metal is, the more brittle it is, if you didn't know that. So making a good knife or a good bladed tool of any kind is really a balancing act, because you can't just make it as hard as possible. It's not like you want a diamond hard metal, because of the way it changes the structure of the metal at the molecular level. It becomes really brittle and it will shatter or break. So you need a little bit of flex in there, a little bit of give, and that's what this is all about. They give the softer metal here on the outside, harder metal along the inside, laminated in there, and then that way they get a nice sharp cutting edge, but the whole axe has a little bit of flex, a little give, and it can take a lot more brute force without breaking. So, but that edge is really hard and a little bit more brittle. And if you hit a rock or something metal or hard, you're gonna chip that out. It's not the only tool that I have with a chip in the edge. I've got a big Bowie knife. It actually came to me chipped, but it was a prototype from Schrade. I won in a giveaway, and I don't really use it. It's not really, I don't have a great use for it. It's more of a collector piece. It was just cool to win it. And then I have a tomahawk, sort of a tactical style tomahawk, not a really cool one. And I chipped the blade in that as well. So just goofing around doing dumb stuff. So it's a cheap tomahawk. I was just out goofing with a buddy, and it wasn't really a big deal, but I did end up chipping it, and I'll have to fix that at some point as well. Maybe I'll fix that one before I fix this one, kind of as a test or a learning experience. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and work on scrubbing this down, and then I'm not going to come back on video just to show off the scrub down head going back in the vinegar. I'm going to scrub it down, and then I'm going to throw that on Instagram. So if you want to see the scrubbed head at this point, then right after the video here ends, go ahead and hit Instagram. Look me up at Uncle Mike 5012. That's UNKLE, not a C, Uncle with a K, Mike 5012 on Instagram. You can see all my photos there, and if you want to give me a follow, you can see stuff that I post. Over there, it is my personal Instagram. I don't have a channel Instagram yet, so maybe I'll do that at some point. But you're welcome to follow me on the personal Instagram. Mostly it's going to be reposting a lot of Second Amendment activism type posts. I'm a very strong Second Amendment supporter, so you're going to see some of that over there. You're going to see some giveaways that I like to repost, products and companies that I really like, knives and axes from makers that I really like. I like to share those around over there on Instagram, as well as photos of my dogs and photos of projects I'm working on and stuff like that. So just a little bit of everything. It's just kind of a little bit of a window into me and into my life. Not quite as focused as this YouTube channel is on the 2 or 3 primary subjects here of the tools of the workshop, the artwork, and shooting videos, stuff like that. So that's going to be a little bit more just random stuff over there, but definitely feel free to give me a follow over there, and you can see the updated axe photos. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work on this, and then post those up, and we'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day.